talk about a couple teams that have um, made a step this year, going to the next level that we were talking about at the beginning of the season. So just to start things off, the Blackhawks won tonight. This is being recorded on Sunday against the Penguins. Man, the Penguins, man, them in Boston, they got a lot of work ahead of them. But Blackhawks won. Ilya Mikheyev had 2 goals, and man, I wanted to talk about this guy because he came onto the Hawks team. You know, he kind of hasn't stood out on any squad that he's played for yet, but he's quietly had a really good season. I would say a really good season for a player that's playing 15 minutes a game and is kind of relegated up and down the lineup. He's got 75 games played, 20 goals, 14 assists, 34 points, and he's a +2. For a guy that has scored 20 goals once, that was in the 21-22 season on the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you would think that it'd be easier to put up points on that Maple Leaf squad. But he's put up 20 so far, and this is his highest point total um, to date. How do you feel about this kid? You know, it's kind of like he's on the outskirts. He's definitely not a prospect because he's played 345 games, but he's also kind of, it seems like he's trying to keep a spot on this roster. How do you feel about him, Matt?
I just hope it's not like a Kurashev thing. Like he's lighting it up one year, and the next year they give him a couple more mil, couple some term, and just kind of falls off the face of the earth like
Yeah.
Radish and Anthony Cu. But you know what? The dude hustles. He's got some skill. I scored. I think he's got 3 shorties this year.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And being a plus player on the Hawks is very impressive. So
Yeah.
if you need fillers, that's probably the guy you want to sign. Not an old veteran guy that's just he can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, kind of like a guy who's got maybe 300 games in. It's just kind of not working out where he's at.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the Maroons and the guys that are just the Martinez's,
The
Brody's
Halls.
obviously. Yeah, but I mean, this guy's got speed. He's got skill. I know he was on the top line at the beginning of the year, and everyone was like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
And yeah, 20 goals in the NHL is impressive. It is once you hit that plateau. He's done it twice. Uh, yeah, I mean, I personally like what we're doing with the young guys now, just throwing them into the fire and kind of seeing what we got. But if you can get this guy cheap, I'm not sure how much term he has left. I have no idea what his contract status is, but probably an okay filler guy. Obviously, he's a good penalty killer if he's scoring, shorthanded goals.
Like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching him all year quietly, and he seems like I'm just waiting for this guy to break out. Kind of, he's had some instances where he's had some good moves, driven to the net, pretty hard, and it would kind of bounce just shy of the goal mark. Honestly, man, I think he could have had 30 goals this year. So on some plays that he's been in, but I'm just kind of waiting for this kid. Like, is he going to break out? Who is he? If you were to pot 30 goals, it'd be like, hey, who is this? He's 345 goals in. He's got speed. We're waiting for him to break out. It's not like Ryan Donato where we already know who he is. He's probably never going to score as many goals as he does
No,
again this year.
he'll cash
And
out. He's gonna cash out wherever he goes.
do you think he's going to go to free agency?
Oh yeah, he'd be stupid not to. Well, he pretty much is anyway. Unless, well, I think he should at this point. If he didn't have a deal signed by the deadline, why not take it to July 1st? Answer, take the calls, and somebody might give you an extra year, couple 100,000, and that helps when you're retired. So, I don't think he's ever gonna get to. I don't even think he might even get to 20 again. But I like the guy. Great player. Hustles. Uh, I think he's been one of the best leaders on this team.
Yeah.
And he's playing with Bedard. That helps. But this guy still got to shoot the puck, and he's finishing well.
So, quick question. Rumor has it that the Blackhawks have a four by four deal on the table for him. Would you do that?
Do you know the term?
Four for four.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, 4 for 4. Well, that's like the magic number I feel like with Davidson with veterans. So he's 28. Uh, I mean, I personally would like to see what they do if they're going for the big fish, which is Marner now. He's like the only top dude out there. I'd like to maybe wait and see because I don't think Donato is going to be on the top line if you sign Marner. But if they fail and not bringing in Marner, what do you do then? So it's almost, it's you almost need that insurance policy. So,
I
uh,
mean, even if they don't sign Marner, is he still like a top liner?
no, he's not a top liner, but he's like we've gone over. We need guys still to play, and I think we're gonna if we don't like structure this roster a little bit better, it's gonna be the same as this year. Except
Right.
we might get a couple more wins with our goalie Knight. He stands on his head a lot. He has bad games, but when you're getting outshot bad, eventually they're gonna kind of find the easy ones and stuff. But I know that Nikolai Ehlers is out there, but is this something you want to spend on, or because you're gonna overpay for a couple of these guys? So 4 for 4 for him, I think would be a good deal. But you know how it is now. Agents want to try to get the best for their clients because that's more money in their pockets too. So I could see him waiting for sure.
Frank Nazar, man, he's been scored again tonight. He's
Shorty.
got 9 goals on the season, man, and I think that this kid is starting to get a little bit more comfortable. He's at 48 games played so far this year, so we could say that he's in mid-season form. I think it's safe to say that this kid would score if he had a full season, 82 games, 20 goals as a rookie. That's not
Yeah.
bad, man.
No, I could see that for sure. And it's his rookie year. He's learning. NCAA to the AHL to the NHL is like three crazy jumps.
Yeah,
Uh, Honestly, I've seen some posts like saying, "Wow, Nazar looks like he's developing better than Bedard." I've seen a couple of those actually, and lately you could say that. I think Bedard's kind of struggled a bit this last couple of weeks. He hasn't really looked like Bedard, but Frankie looks confident out there for sure.
yeah. He seems to be really confident. I think that Bedard is like, I don't want to say he's not a well, he's not a drive the net type of guy like Nazar is. But Bedard needs. I think that he needs someone else other than Ryan Donato on that top line, man. I think that he needs some help. Do you have any other than Marner? Is there anybody on the squad that you would want to pair him with
Uh, on the current team right
on
now,
the current team right now?
it's too hard, and it's too hard because I mean the dude literally has probably seen everybody at one time, and they've tried so much. I liked him with Tuzi. Uh, Tuzi's that kind of blue collar type of dude. Go to the net, tip, rebounds, and just dirty goals, and you need that. That I think he'd be a good
Right.
power play guy with Bedard and stuff like that. He's proved that he is. I just think they're like a more like a second line type of thing. Like if you did land Marner and you had like a rookie up with Bedard, I would like to see like Donato, Bertuzzi, and Tevu. I think that'd be a cool line, even like a third line type of thing. Uh, but as for right now, it's too hard with these prospects. Like I told you, I hate talking prospects because people see like one good play. Oh, this guy's gonna be a beast, and then he makes a mistake. Oh, this guy's a bust. He's not ready. It's so frustrating to see. You just gotta let him go, and whatever works, that's what you stick to.
Right.
But our coach doesn't like that, and I cannot wait till he's gone, because what was the game we were up and Bedard took a face off. This was like maybe two games ago, or I think it was Colorado. Hawks played great. Spencer Knight stood on his head that whole
Yeah.
game. He sent
They
Connor
were
out
up
to,
2-0 going into the third period.
and they pulled the goalie. Colorado ties it because Bedard doesn't win a draw. I thought that was a stupid coaching move. Yeah, but in a sense, like, hey, I want to see this guy in a situation like this. I want to see what Bedard is made of. He didn't win it. Kale McCarr buries it, ties the game. They win in OT. That's just something a coach. If I mean, if you want a job ever again, you got to try to win. And I don't think the Hawks played to win there, and it was really frustrating for me to watch.
Do you know what the standings are? Like standings updates with the Hawks and the Sharks?
No, I know they were both at the bottom. Uh, I, I don't think it's going to matter. We're probably going to get one or two, assumingly, right?
I mean, hopefully we get one or two, but I mean it is a lottery.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. I think we got some studs waiting, possible studs. We got to see, wait and see. But I don't like how guys are saying that this guy's never going to play a game in the AHL. I don't know how you can come up with that.
Yeah, Frank Saravalli said that about Renzel.
I mean, what's wrong with that? Every other prospect's had to do that with the Hawks, and I just feel like they're not doing well with this whole call up, send down, call up, send down. I think if you're gonna keep them down, okay, fine, let them learn that level first. And like with Reichel, they completely botched. You call the poor kid up, he learns the speed of the game in 3 games. He doesn't get any points. Oh, he's not ready. You send him back down to the AHL, and it's like men's league sometimes
Yeah.
to skilled guys like that. And then okay, he's the dude's on fire. Let's call him back up. Oh, we gave him 5 games. He only got 2 assists. He's not ready. Well, he's got to learn the speed. So I think they need to do that with a lot of the players and stick to the plan.
Yeah. And just let them play. Let's give them an opportunity to play. It was kind of popular this week that, that talking about the prospects and saying that Korchinski is kind of like at the bottom the list now, and I kind of disagree considering how much time he put in his first season with the Blackhawks.
Hmm.
He's had one full season with the in the AHL, and to be honest with you, he looks pretty good right now. A lot of these guys that we have coming from college, honestly, Oliver Moore looks pretty good, but they need to get acclimated to this. They need to get acclimated to this game, to the speed of the game at the NHL level, and just because that you have say like the toolkit for um, for being successful in the NHL doesn't mean that you can deploy those skills in the AHL in the NHL at an elite level. And that's the hard thing for a lot of guys coming in. They have the skills, but they can't use them properly in the NHL, and it takes some time to develop. I mean, an example is Mikheyev. I mean, he's had another 20-goal season, 34 points on the year, and he's like 340 games into this season. We can't say that we know what we have with a lot of the players because a lot of them haven't even played a full season yet, other than say maybe Kaiser.
Some guys played 5 games, and you're
Some
already
guy,
ready to
yeah.
crown the guys. Like give them the Norris Trophy already. It's like, come on.
Um, are there any say any? I think that it's looking promising what we have. I think Levshinov looks good. Um, I think that he's kind of earned a spot on the squad and kind of just let him play and keep getting acclimated. How do you feel about Lev?
Well, I don't like I said I don't like talking prospects that much because
Just
I
from what you've seen at the NHL level right now, I'm
well
not talking about what they
that's
did
what I'm getting
beforehand.
at because I've seen the B word thrown around at him because his AHL production, the bust word,
Oh,
uh, not the bitch, but the bust, and I laugh. I'm like, the bust. They haven't called him up yet, and
yeah,
since they've called him up, the guy's been playing top minutes.
yeah,
And I see him out there diving for pucks, trying to keep plays alive. He's a really good skater too.
yeah,
And like I barely talk about the guy. I don't like doing it, but from what I've seen so far, I think he's going to be a top 4 for sure on this team.
yeah.
If
I
not
like
a
him.
top pairing guy because he's smooth and good skater. He's the poor dude's balding though. He just looks like he's. I've seen some funny tweets. He's been in the Russian gulag for a while or
Yeah,
wherever he's from, the Belarus or whatever. But no, I think he's solid, and I'm very surprised because I've seen more negativity about him than anything.
yeah,
And I didn't watch any Rockford games. I can't comment on it. But the Hawks passed on that Demonov guy
yeah.
for this guy, and I always for some reason the Canadians fans like to like chirp sometimes at Hawks fans about stuff. How's the Kirby Doc and Nazar thing going on? That's got to be the biggest stupidity trade I've ever seen on their end.
Yeah,
But they
man.
like to say, "Why don't you draft this guy?" Who cares? We don't want that guy. I credit Davidson. He had his guy and he stuck to it, and So far, the kid looks really good.
Yeah,
Levshunov.
yeah. Um, it's kind of crazy to really think about it that we traded Doc to draft Nazar, and Nazar is definitely on his way up. If he played 82 games this year, he'd be a 20-goal scorer. Let me look at what Doc's stats are.
Before he got hurt, I think he was like less than 15 goals. I want to say maybe even 12. The kid's incredibly skilled. It's just, I mean, if he gets hit, and that knee is done every time.
So Doc has he's got 10 goals on the season. He's a minus 29.
Jeez.
That
And
was before he got hurt.
look at the
He's
success since he's been gone. That team is the second wild card spot,
yeah,
and they're playing awesome.
yeah.
But they
He's never
paid him
scored
4 million,
20 goals.
dude. They paid him 4 million after that trade. $4 million extension, I want to say.
Yeah.
I don't know who his agent is, but that dude, he's probably got some dirt on somebody in that organization. But hey, we forget about his brother Colton Dock. He looked good with us too, and
Yeah.
that's a good forward guy that the the prospect perverts will call him. They forget about him. He was really good at times, and I'm
Yeah.
excited to see him next year starting the year with the team.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, it's been really positive watching him play. Just the development that he's made. Um, he seems like he's really comfortable with the squad, which looks good. They all seems like everybody's getting along, and he's done everything that's been asked of him. He had that freak injury.
Shoulder, like he went for
I
a
think
hit
it was an
and,
elbow. I think they
or
said it was
something.
it was an elbow injury,
I thought it
but
was a hyperextension or whatever.
yeah, hyperextended elbow.
That prospects pervert term is used by the Bill Wirtz account. That
Really?
dude's a freaking beauty, man.
Is
He
that
does
what he
not
says?
miss. He goes, "You prospect perverts like to always say this," and that guy's awesome, dude.
Him and
Yeah.
War Criminal Faulkner, man.
Oh my God, he's funny too.
You don't want to get on their
He
bad
hates
side.
Ovi. He
Oh, really?
hates him. Oh my goodness, he hates Ovi. Yeah, he's
We'll
like
get to that in a minute.
anti-Russia. He
What
hates him.
have you? How much of Renzel have you watched?
I've definitely noticed his skating ability. He's
Yeah,
very good with the puck. He's got a good pass. It's hard right now. I feel like they're like just meaningless games, and
yeah,
but their first game together, Moore and him, they were flying. They had some jump. They were excited, which was
yeah.
it was
He's
it
got
was fun
great
to see.
skating ability considering his size. Kind of like Hedman, a really tall dude with great on their skates. He's got some like you said, good passing. He's not afraid to shoot, man. If he's got an
Right.
opportunity to put it on net, and that's good. We need guys like that. We need guys who are
We don't have
um,
enough.
not
Yeah.
afraid to put the puck on the net because what happens? It makes it through. You get some rebounds, and that sets up goals.
That's like Seth Jones. He was like the only defenseman to shoot, and it would go wide, go the other way for an odd man rush, and they'd score
Right.
against us. But
Yeah.
at least he tried. He tried to fire it. I still want to see Did Levshunov score yet? Because he's got a decent shot too. It's just not getting through yet.
No,
I don't
I
think
don't
he's
think
hit.
he scored yet.
He's assisted. Yeah.
Remember when we were talking about getting Seth Jones? The consensus
Yeah.
was either Jones or Dougie Hamilton, and
Oh, I'm still happy with Jones.
if I am
Honestly.
too, man,
Honestly.
because
Yeah.
he played more than Dougie Hamilton would have.
Yeah, I mean, Jones put up some okay numbers his first 2 years too. It's just like we had horrible coaching, horrible systems, and I think he was shot. He was done,
Yeah,
and it took a toll on him, and it was time. And good for him. I I listen to the radio every morning. I listen to NHL radio, and I see, oh, Seth Jones was on the ice for this goal against, and yeah, so what happens when you kind of get caught, running around a little bit. It's gonna
yeah,
happen. You got to find a good partner for him, and that's no matter where he's gonna end up.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think the prospects look good, man. I think Korchinski, he seems quick. He seems more decisive. He seems much more physical than he was last year. I kind of saw him kind of shying away physically last season and this season. I've seen him, kind of mix it up in the corners a little bit and start shoving guys and moving around. He seems more physical, and that's, I think what they want out of him. Great skating ability too.
Yeah, I've seen it too. I just I haven't seen a lot of him because he's been down, and
Yeah,
I don't really go out of my way to watch the Ice Hogs. But it's good to hear good reports about him and stuff, and all the prospects and stuff like that.
yeah.
So you could just hope. That's all.
Blackhawks played the Washington Capitals, and Ovi scored 2 goals, tied it the Wayne Gretzky's record. Man, kind of crazy to believe that somebody beat it, but you know what? It took somebody like Ovi, who's hasn't scored anything lower than I think 34 goals in a season, to break
Do you know the
Gretz's
story
record.
about that?
Huh?
So
I thought that was the shortened season.
no. So this was from Bruce Boudreau, uh, which I was amazed. I couldn't believe he was saying this. So that year he changed his stick for I don't know what company it was, but he would lean into the shot a lot and the stick would break. And Bruce is like, "Hey, I need you to shoot. I need you to shoot." And he's like, "I keep breaking these sticks." He's like, "I can't find the right flex or whatever it was." And at that point, he was just so frustrated, he kept passing the puck. If you look at those numbers, I think that year he had more assists.
Mm.
And that, ironically, that was Bruce's last year coaching the Capitals because Ovi had such a rough. He didn't, he couldn't put up the goal numbers, and it was cool he said it because I always wondered, I'm like, this guy's like, how do you go from 50, 50, 60, 50, and then like 30? Like, what happened?
I
Because he
think
still
that might have been when he moved to Bauer, because I know he switched to Bauer for a little bit.
he switched, and he said the sticks kept snapping on him. He was frustrated, and he couldn't find the right one. And
Can you
at
imagine being in the Bauer R&D department?
it's
Like,
like,
what
okay,
the hell is
we're
going on with these sticks? Ovi keeps
like
breaking
looking
them.
back at it now. It's like he's the greatest goal scorer, and like, wow, we almost effed that up,
Yeah.
But it was cool to hear that, and I always wondered, I'm like, what was going through that guy's mind? I mean, he still had Nick Backstrom passing him the puck, and for some reason it leaning into it, snapping, and he's like, I'm not shooting anymore. I'm too scared. I don't want to lose the game and cause a turnover. They go back and score. So that was the year Bruce was done too. I think he ended up in like Minnesota, like a couple days after he was traded, and we ran into him in the playoffs that year.
Wow.
But he said, yeah, that was it for me. Once Ovi stopped scoring, I was done.
Holy smoke.
Yeah,
You know what's kind of crazy, man, is that, you know, Crosby, when he came in, he was supposed to be, the next one, and Sid the Kid. And you know what, man? Ovechkin really took some of that off of his back, to
yeah,
so that he didn't have to do it alone. And I think that he should be recognized for that at a time where, the NHL was trying to come out of the dark days, kind of,
yep.
and and Sid was really leading that charge. I mean, when Sid came out, Malakin, Backstrom, um, Ma- um,
Kane and Taves
Ovi,
even. Yeah,
Taves, Kaner,
yeah.
Kopitar, Bergeron. We had a lot of young guys. Claude Giroux. We had a lot of young guys coming up that kind of led taking the NHL out of this dark time, and really producing some really great hockey. But Ovechkin, I think, really helped Crosby kind of shoulder that responsibility of kind of being dual faces of the league in a way.
And they
Even
were
though
a
that
great rival.
The
Yeah.
NHL tried pushing it as Crosby, but with Ovi scoring the way that he was, you couldn't ignore him. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and they pushed each other. I mean, to this day, there's a great rivalry. And
Yeah.
uh, well, what's funny is Eddie O was talking about that. It was the year before Crosby, and Eddie was a part of the Penguins organization. I think he was the head coach, and they knew it was going to be Ovi or Malkin. They were going to get. They were a second overall pick, and Washington had the first. They went with Ovi. They got Malkin, which is still a good, solid pickup for them.
Yeah.
You got 3 cups, 4 cups, right? With them,
Multiple
three cups.
multiple 100-point seasons. I
Yeah,
even think he got 50. Hold on, let me check.
he might have. But you know, can you imagine if they landed the lottery twice? Ovechkin and Crosby could have been on the same team if you think about it.
I wonder
How
how that would have
insane!
worked out though, man.
How insane. Well, it might not have, but Ovi was a scoring machine. He won the Calder. Crosby didn't win that award. So it was a great rivalry. Back Sid got the cup first. The two. I mean, it was a. Those guys did not disappoint. They were, like you said, they helped each other, and now they're probably passing the torch to I would say McDavid and the McKinnons of the world and Cale Makars. But absolutely, it was awesome to watch him. I think I was a senior in high school when Sid came into the league, and I remember being at my grandma's house in the city, and I was like, "This guy's younger than me, Grandma. Look at him skating and stuff." And that was the game Darian Hatcher hit him so hard his front teeth popped out. My grandma was like, "Oh my goodness, that young man, his teeth are out." I'm like, "Yeah, Darian Hatcher's a mean motherfucker."
That happened to Crosby?
Yeah, Darian Hatcher roughed him up high stick. It was nasty. And Sid, that Sid was known for, being kind of he's got to protect himself. Like, what the frick? He's kind of
Yeah.
arguing and stuff like that. But, I would still, I still love Sid. He's awesome. He's super fun to watch. Lethal backhand. Great leader. 3 cups. MVPs, golden goals, and it's been awesome, dude.
Yeah, it has. It's been, quite a ride. So Ovechkin scored his broke Gretzky's record today.
895.
Pretty great. My I put a bet in on it, $50 that he hits it today. Like, I'm glad that
Nice.
hit.
Yeah. And it was a great shot. It was a wrister.
Oh, dude, it was a goal scorer's
That
goal.
was like the speed of Al McGinnis slap shot, his wrister.
Yeah.
I saw him fire it, and I just hear the net just go thump, like you just
Yeah.
blew right by Sorokin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just crazy. Good for the Islander fans too. Like that was a great ovation they gave him.
Oh yeah.
And,
Great
they're
reception.
hockey people. I love that. I'm glad it didn't happen in like Nashville or something stupid like Utah.
Yeah.
So that was I'm glad it happened there. Historic. Even Gretzky's like, I hated playing you guys. I could not win against the Islanders back in the day and stuff. But that was cool that they stopped the game a little bit. I know it's got to suck. You got to stop and kind of go back into it, but you got to do it. It's history. So I thought the league did a good job with that.
Gretzky is a class act, man. He truly is. When he got onto the ice, the whole hoopla was going on. He walked over and
Yep.
shook Patrick Waugh's hand. Did you see that?
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, man.
No, I
As soon
didn't
as he
see
got
that.
in, he shook some hands, and then he walked over to the Islanders bench and went and shook Waugh's hand.
Yeah, those guys had some battles, dude. He's a legend, and I'm going to say this again. If Waz available to be a coach, I'd like to see Davidson kind of kick the tires a little bit because I know a lot of people are anti being mean to players and stuff, but I think he's a guy you might want to have on a team, building up a young team and give him some discipline and structure. And the dude's won 4 cups,
Yeah.
and I don't know, Spencer Knight in net, and you got Patrick Waugh as a head coach. Pretty cool to ask him some questions like, "Hey, how can I improve my game and stuff like that?"
Yeah.
So I would love it.
Yeah, that would. That'd be pretty crazy. So we had who were your teams at the beginning of the season, Matt? It was Ottawa, it was Detroit,
Buffalo.
and Buffalo, and it was 3 teams that we were looking to say who is going to take a step this year, and make a run at the playoffs, or just take a next step towards that. And I think we were looking at Detroit, man. We were looking at Detroit, thinking that this could be the year for them. And
There's still hope technically, but
yeah, technically there is.
I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. It's going to
But
be tough.
Ottawa's been playing really good, man. Winning big games, and they are in the top wild card spot, aren't they?
Yeah, they're top, and the Montreal Canadiens have jumped over and are at the bottom wild card spot. So
What do you think it is about the Canadians that why they're so successful this year?
well, if you got a kid on D that's putting up, I believe, what is that, 60 points already?
Yeah, I think he's at 60.
That's incredible. Uh, you found a goalie. You think, it's some French name. I apologize, but he's been good. Marty St. Louis is a good coach, former player, knows how to win, knows what it takes. and I'll say this too: Nick Suzuki has taken a huge step, and he's the captain of that team. I had him. I drafted him in fantasy. He's one of my best players. I'm probably gonna keep him for next year because I'm in a keeper league. I could keep like 5 or 6, but he's probably my number one choice. I'm keeping
What are
Cole
his points
Caulfield.
on the year?
I think he has 60 assists. Believe it or not, I can check
Wow.
really quick. I could be wrong. He is at. I'm sorry, he's at 56, so he's close. 27 goals, 56 assists. He's
Wow.
a
He's having a great season.
great season and good leader for them. And I know all the Canadians faithful are like really pumped about this guy. Cole Caulfield, he's a goal scorer. I still like my boy Wi-Fi throwing some bombs at people. He's kind of like the bottom defenseman, but you need a tough dude like that that ain't gonna take any shit. I
Yeah.
love that. And then you got Hudson, who is unbelievable, man. This guy is. He went coast to coast the other day. He, I sniped one on the goal line, impossible angle, like a Bedard like goal against Tampa. Went in, and it's like, damn, this kid. And I think he's like 18 or 19 years old. So that's just like this guy's gonna get locked up, and they're gonna have a great future. And I think they leapfrogged over. Obviously, they leapfrogged over Buffalo, that's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
Ottawa, or I'm not, Detroit, and what was the other team that was really close that we were talking about? Like they're there, but it might have been the Islanders. But I think they're done. The Islanders are.
Yeah,
They
they're like
won
they're
today,
back
but
and forth, man. They
they're too
it's like
old. I
they
think it's time. It's time to move some pieces and start fresh.
okay. We've got other teams, man, like Pittsburgh and Boston that are
Oof.
they're going to have
Welcome.
to make some really big moves and possibly tear it down.
Welcome to the wastelands, right? Like we've been
Yeah.
there, and they're gonna be joining us. And you're goods for so many years. It's gonna happen. We've experienced it as Hawks fans, and Buffalo's turn now. I'm sorry, it's yeah. They've been in the wastelands for like 30 years, but the Bruins. It's heartbreaking for Pasta. I see him out there. He's still producing. Watching Bergeron retire, Marchand go, and guys just kind of get moved around. Their coach gets fired. He goes to St. Louis. They're on like a 10-game winning
Yeah.
streak, 12-game heater. They're going to make the playoffs.
Right.
So it wasn't the coach's problem, it was the team. You got your boy Zadorov throwing his body around, getting so many penalties, and not doing much else. But yeah, they're out. They've officially been eliminated from the playoffs and stuff. And Pittsburgh's a tough one because Sid saved that team, man. Getting him, he really saved that team, and I think he's going to ride into the sunset with the Penguins. And you got to do it. We should have done it with our guys, but we had different
Absolutely.
plans. But I respect him for wanting to stay. He should stay. He should, the minute he's done retiring, I think at the end of the season, whenever he does retire, that's when the banner should go up. They shouldn't even make another year. It should be right away.
They should
That's
have
how
it right
important.
there ready to go as soon
And the
as he says
statue
I'm
should
retired.
also be ready to
It
go.
should just go right up.
Yeah, that's how important he is to that city. Same with Malkin. He's hurt a lot, but and Letang. You got to get Fleury back there too. He was a stud. But it's hard times when you didn't look good against the Blackhawks tonight. A young Blackhawks team that probably should have beat, but the Hawks look good. I credit them on that, but it's bad for Pittsburgh, and I don't know why you bring Kyle Dubas because he brings in an aging Eric Carlson who can't play defense, and he's got a lot of term left. So they might try to move him again.
How the hell are they going to do that though?
So I know the Sharks are taking on some percentage of it. So the Penguins are going to have to eat some too, and he's going to go play for like say Tampa Bay with his buddy Hedman for like $4 million a year, and watch him. Oh wow, I remember how to play again, and he lights it up and gets like 100 points.
But doesn't the but wouldn't Tampa have to take on the whole 10 million cap hit though, or is it only
I
what they pay?
I'm really not sure about that, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think they would probably get some percentage of it, and whatever cap hit they have to pay, I'm sure guys, they're gonna work it out. These GMs are math wizards and stuff like that, but I could see something like that happening though for sure. You got to try to move them. You have to.
Yeah. Ottawa, man. Never
Yeah,
thought I didn't think that it was going to be them, but
I
you
thought
know,
it was going to be Detroit.
right.
I really did.
Yeah, I did too. So we've got Lions list.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see. I should just have him share this with us. Okay, so are you superstitious? If so, what's your routine? I am somewhat superstitious. I don't have a routine.
I did, and it's going to be a little long because I was a goalie. So if it was a home game, I would take the same route to the rink. I'd try to park in the same spot. If I didn't get it, I'd be pretty upset about it, but I'd have to find somewhere else to go. I'd get there an hour and 15 minutes early. I'd stretch for 15 minutes, and then I'd use my probably 25 minutes to get my lower pads on. Then I'd go stretch, watch the game and ahead of us a little bit, and then you know, final minutes before the game, I would say a couple prayers and stuff like that, and listen to the same music as well.
The same song.
Same song as well, and it was weird because it was like an Incubus song that year because
Which
that was
one?
the song I listened to before they, and then I had a good little winning streak. So that yeah, I think it was like
Which Incubus
Megalomaniac
song?
CD. Ah, so it was like 2003. So I forget honestly, but I did like listening to "Hey Man, Nice Shot" by Filter on the way. I
Yeah,
just love the bass and stuff.
yeah.
Got me going.
What is? Oh, so this goes into number two. What's your best pregame hype song?
So like if I'm in the locker room and I had my we'll say CD player because I'm old, I'd have like mixed stuff that I just believe it or not, I really liked like just no just like as weird as it's gonna sound like motivational like classical type music.
Sure.
I didn't like rap, rock, but in warm ups they used to play Enter Sandman, and I used to like just the beat, you know. But if I could go back when I was in men's league, I loved Van Halen, DOA, and I just like the beginning of the song. I felt like, wow, this is awesome. I'll take a shot from you, slide over, take a shot from you, and like I'd go to the song, and
Yeah.
so I guess you could say DOA, Van Halen, and like just regular like I don't know what you call it, like instrumental kind of music.
Sure.
Nothing weird or anything. Just like what's that guy Zach Hemsey? He makes some good stuff, but it wasn't around back then. But that type of music.
Okay. Yeah, I liked. You didn't really have a choice. Like whatever, whoever the music dude was, is kind
Yeah.
of like what you listened to in the locker room. There really wasn't anything that I wanted, but what I absolutely hated was Enter Sandman, because it was so like
Oh,
so overplayed.
it's
And
so
I
yeah
bought the black CD when it came out, so
yeah.
I listened to it a lot. But then it just became more and more as you played sports. You know, it
That
was like
wasn't in the
always
locker
on.
room for
Right.
us. That was the dad running the score sheet and hitting the music button. And it's all right, but he had some good stuff and then he had some weird stuff. But we also had the Cubs organist
Uh-huh.
at Southwest Ice Arena, and
Uh-huh.
he would play, you know, just like hockey organ music, you know.
Sure.
And I kind of like that too. In between like the whistles, I'd hear him playing the organ. I'd skate around
Yeah.
a little bit, you know, just kind of bang my head around and you know whatever. But I think his name was Gary. What was it, Gary Presley or something? But
Mm.
he was really good there. I enjoyed it.
Number three, waffles or pancakes? I'm going with waffles.
Waffles.
Who wins in a wrestling match, Trediak or Ovechkin? That depends. Is this a young Ovechkin or kind of dad bod Ovechkin?
Yeah, hot Cheeto Ovechkin Subway diet. You know what? As somebody who's witnessed Tretiak in his late 30s, maybe early 40s, in full gear, doing drills harder than guys in their 20s and you know teens and stuff, that guy was a machine. And
Yeah,
I think Tretiak was an absolute beast, and I'd give him the win.
I'll go for that too. I'm going to go with Trediak. Is Ovechkin more of a complete player or than Gretzky? This isn't even a question. It's Gretzky.
Yeah, Wayne's the man. He had a good interview today with one of the TNT guys, and they were like, the guy was kind of trying to get him to admit that it's harder to score in today's league and stuff. And Gretzko's Yeah, it might be harder and the goalies are better, but it's a lot easier to shoot when you don't have a guy with a stick in your body or your face. So I do respect that line for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and he wasn't even a sniper, you know?
No, he's a playmaker, and he even admitted that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Would you rather lose point 0.5 inch of
Jesus
height
Christ.
each year or add point 0.5 inch of length to your dick? Um,
I like the little Easter egg you put in there, bud.
yeah.
I got to pass on that one.
Yeah, I think I might pass on it too. I don't want to lose any height.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be too big because then
Yeah, I don't want
it's
to be
not
too
fun.
big. Yeah.
True or false? Blackhawks have had a 70-point player on the roster this year. No, negative.
No, no, but Bajard will definitely be there eventually. No problem, I think.
Bigger villain, Dollar Bill or Danny Wirtz? Dollar Bill by a landslide.
Well, I think it's kind of like I think Danny is trying to follow the footsteps, like he's gonna take over the villain's throne if he keeps doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
But definitely Dollar Bill.
yeah, that's true. I mean, Bill wouldn't put the home games on, man.
Oh, I know that was stupid. He lost a generation of people, kids not wanting to play hockey or even know we had a hockey team, and that's a
Right,
fact.
and that's why he's the bigger villain for me.
I went to a sports store locally, and actually it's in Worth, and I bought my kids some baseball stuff. But I went in there and I talked to the owner and I said, "Hey, I remember my dad bought me my first stick from you. It was a Gretzky Easton aluminum stick that every kid wanted." And he goes, I said, "So why'd you stop selling?" He goes, I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you who was the reason. It was, he said, Dollar Bill Wirtz. And I said, "It sucks that you didn't have Rocky." He goes, "I know, I'd be a millionaire and I'd have a bigger store." That's what he said. And he's
Wow.
probably right because I mean, I probably in my school, I probably knew like three kids out of like kindergarten through eighth grade that played hockey. And no one knew about it. Only
Yeah.
like the diehard hockey people knew about hockey, and
Right.
he was the reason a whole generation of kids didn't know hockey. And
Yeah.
I know like kids, guys our age, started watching hockey when Kane and Taves were here, and Rocky put them on TV.
Right.
They missed out on Roenick, Belfour, Amani, Ollie Larmer, Savard. All, and I feel bad for him, but that guy is the reason. He's a huge villain, huge dick.
Yeah. Would you rather have a team that is always in the news for its on ice performance or a team that is always in the news for its off ice antics?
Hmm.
On ice.
Yeah, nice.
Eagle or crow? Only one number gets retired. Explain your reasoning.
Hmm. That's actually a good question.
Yeah, it is.
Uh, oh, you see the shit behind me. Uh, I think I still believe Eddie was probably top two best goalies the Hawks have ever had.
Yeah.
But Corey won two cups. But I will say Eddie had some good teams too. He made it to the final. Uh, I think Corey got the job done twice. It's hard for me to say this, but I think Crawford probably deserves a number retirement.
I unfortunately agree with you.
Believe me, I
because
did not want to say that.
yeah, I don't want to say that. Like my
Yeah,
heart doesn't want to say that,
that's a good
but
question. It's a
but
thinker.
um he won, man, and that's what it comes down to. Like kind of like how you could say, "Oh, the '60s Hawks were better than was the best era in hockey." No, it wasn't. The best era in Blackhawks hockey was the 2010s hockey team because they
Yep.
won 3 cups and they brought home all the hardware.
Well, individual awards, you got to give it to Eddie for sure.
Sure.
The dude wasn't even drafted. Came out of North Dakota. Wins the Calder. Wins the Vesna. Jennings, he's done. I think he got 3 Vesnas. I want to say Hall of Fame. Uh, I don't think Crawford will be a Hall of Fame goalie.
I don't
A-
think so either.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, this dude's
Well,
in the Hall of Fame.
but he
And
won a cups. He played on a
yeah,
cups team and they
it's a
won.
hard debate.
And Eddie played on a Stanley Cup final team and he lost.
But he also won with Dallas. But
He
it's
did.
not the Blackhawks. We can't.
Yeah.
We don't retire you for your run with Dallas.
Right.
So it's harder. And I will say Crawford spent his whole career with the Hawks. Yes, he tried to go to Jersey. It didn't work. He didn't even play. So, yeah, you probably got to give it to Crawford. I still think Eddie's a better goalie. Uh, but Crawford was a better Hawks goalie, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
It is. It is. That was a good thinker right there.
Yeah, better
Oh, you
than
know
a
what? I
dick
just got a
question.
mess. He said that Bernie Nichols was the 70-pointer. I think I was a little confused about that question. I don't know why.
What do you mean a 70
True or false?
goals?
Blackhawks have had a 70-point player on the roster. I thought that he meant like this season, but I
Oh,
guess
me too. Oh, I thought because I know Kaner's, he's
yeah, I
a
thought he meant
100-point
ever.
guy.
Oh,
Okay.
he meant ever.
I think he means a 70 goal guy.
No, he said points.
I know, but I think he means goal guy because me and him talked about this before.
Yeah, Bernie
He
Nichols
wasn't
didn't
on the
score 70
Blackhawks,
goals
though.
with the Hawks. He did that with the Kings.
Yes, I think he means did the player the Hawks like if they acquired in his past ever get 70 goals or they have like if you say that have the Hawks have ever had a 70 goal guy, I think that's what he meant by that.
Oh,
And
okay.
he said Bernie Nichols, which he did. And
Yeah.
they did have him, and I think it only lasted. I think Bernie Nichols was on the team for like 1 or 2 years only, right?
At the Hawks?
Yeah, it was
I thought it
short.
was like 5.
No, I don't think so. I think
Hold
it
on,
was
let me look
pretty
that
short.
up.
I like Bernie Nichols. Good old number 92, I want to say.
Yeah.
Good player for sure. And I know he did score 70, which is pretty freaking impressive.
He played with the Hawks for
Was that with the
let's see.
Kings?
Yeah, 70 goals with the Kings.
Okay, I think that's what he meant. And could see if he said anything.
Yeah, you're right, man. 2 seasons, 94, 95, and 95, 96.
It was a topic at the Binnie's line because I was with the guy. He's right. He did. You are absolutely right. He did talk about that. Yes, we also didn't talk about that, but we did go to the Eddie Belfour whiskey signing. Awesome. And I got to tell you a funny story about this guy, Chicago Brush Lion. He brings a TPS stick to the line, and he goes, "Hey, dude, check it out. This is a Hasek stick." I'm like, "Dude, they're like rivals." He's like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I taped over his name." I'm like, "You're a fucking beauty. You're a beauty." And signed the stick. Eddie signed it. It looked awesome. And I can't believe I didn't think to bring a goalie stick, and that idiot did.
I'm kind of surprised too. You know what? I have an Eddie Belfour
like a shinny stick.
no, a card from like 1992.
So yeah, you'd have to bring the card and buy a bottle just for that. I have his rookie card somewhere,
Okay.
and I you know what I'm starting to collect his jerseys. I got the one behind me. I have a Leafs jersey that I had my daughter get signed for me, and then I had a Sharks jersey my son got for me. So next time I see him, I'm gonna have him get a Dallas, and fortunately, I got to buy a Panthers jersey because he spent a season there for some fucking reason. Probably
Yeah.
just go to the beach, but I'm gonna try to do that first.
Well, cool, man. All right, everybody. That's all that we got for you tonight. This is a fun one. We had a good time.
Yeah,
We'll
it was
catch
fun.
you guys on the next one. This is the Tomahawk. We're out of here.
I just made him famous.